Welcome to CPXL. This podcast of CrossPoint Church is designed to encourage you to go further and grow deeper. CrossPoint is a rural multi-site church committed to taking the gospel to every place and everyone. You can access all CrossPoint resources at crosspointchurch.com. But now, let's join this episode of CPXL with your host, Pastor Andy Addis.
And the wonderful Kathy Addis. And by the way, this is going to be a switch because I'm the guest and Kathy is the host. Here we are for Proverbs 30. By the way, we have arrived.
Yay!
This is 31 weeks of podcasts over probably the last 40-some weeks.
I don't know how long it's been.
We missed a few in there.
Didn't we start in like September or something?
Let's not talk about dates. Dates aren't important. We're talking about numbers. That's different.
It has been a long ride.
But we are done. This is it. We are finishing Proverbs 31 today.
It's been so good, though, really. I really
Great
enjoyed
study.
doing it. And yeah.
But we decided to celebrate this way. Since Proverbs 31 is always known as the Proverbs 31 woman, it's this quintessential biblical woman that I asked Kathy a couple weeks ago. I said, hey, how about we do this? How about I play dumb and you get the study done and then I'll just follow you? And you agreed. And let's be straight up. In the last couple of hours, you've been like, I don't know if this was a good idea.
No,
it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So let's dive in, and I'm just going to turn it over to you, and I'm color commentary. Let me know what we need to do.
Okay. Well, it's funny because normally I would say, okay, so what do you think about this? And really and truly, we're really just walking through this blind together. So it's
good.
Interesting. It's interesting. So Proverbs 31, I have had a serious love-hate relationship with this book since I became a Christian. And then when I found out that these were like the expectations of women, godly women, I'm like, what? It's interesting, and it seems impossible. And you can, as a woman, I have read through every one of these verses, and I'm like, okay, so she has maids. Let's start with that. She spins flax, and she has all this beautiful fabric. So they're obviously well off.
Okay.
They have money.
All right.
So these are all just excuses that I use to not.
You've come up with some deterrents before you ever get into it.
But I know I'm not alone, and that's okay. What I love about the chapter 31 of Proverbs is that it starts out, verses 1 through 9 are a letter from a mom to her boy. And I love that because I'm a boy mom. But it's to the sayings of King Lemuel contain this message which his mother taught him. And I think that's I just think that's special.
Because the rest of the book is kind of instructions to my son from a dad.
Right. Well, right. And it kind of veers off into expectations greater than where it starts.
Gotcha.
I did not know that verses 10 through 31 were an acrostic poem out of the Hebrew alphabet. That each section starts with a consecutive.
Aleph, Bet, Gadol, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin. Yes.
Okay, you can keep going. I think it sounds cool. So flex your Hebrew muscle here.
That was it. I just flexed.
That was it.
See that? Yeah.
I love it. Okay. But so we go through all of these amazing things that this woman does, and I think I can do some of these things. I don't know how to make. I don't know how to find wool and flax and spin it, but I know people who do. I don't sell property, but I want to focus not on all of these virtues, which are great. In fact, I did make a list of the super intimidating and overwhelming virtues of women.
Okay.
According to this verse, and she makes wise investments. She has good use of time. She plans ahead. She cares for others. She has respect for her spouse. She has the ability to share godly values with others, and she offers wise counsel. That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot. That's really intimidating.
Yeah, but I see you're getting at kind of the heart of it. That the word isn't you need to learn how to spin flax if you want to be a godly woman.
Right.
It's the characteristic behind that. She's industrious.
Yes, and
Right.
she's not lazy. She thinks of others. She cares about her environment and the people in her community. And when you take it at that value, I think it becomes much easier to swallow. That pill is a little easier to swallow. But I wanted to focus on verse 30.
All right.
Could you read verse 30 out of, you have ESV?
Yes. It's fun to be in these different seats. It's really good. Yes. I'd be glad to do that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised.
The NLT says, charm is deceptive and beauty does not last, but a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. And the mention of the woman's fear of the Lord brings us back to the character traits that are first mentioned in the first chapter of Proverbs in 1:7. And it's actually what is taught throughout the entire book. And I think that's if you look at Proverbs 1:7, it talks about that. This is why you don't do this on a podcast, because it's super noisy.
Only if you have super cool mics.
Oh yeah, and we do.
Would you like me to read 1:7?
Yeah, would you?
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction.
So that's how this whole book begins. And it ends. That it's this. These are the hinge point. This is the hinge point of these entire teachings. That it boils down to having a fear of the Lord. And I think that's. I mean, all of these other virtues that they mention are important and they're good, but when it boils down to, do we have a fear of the Lord? And so I think that was. It puts this in a better perspective for me. A more doable thing.
It's like the entire book is an inclusio.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Oh, were you? I'm so sorry.
I don't know I'm like, that's an inclusio, but I'm not entirely sure where to go with it from there.
It's if you don't know what an inclusio is, it's one of those literary devices that we see comedians do. They call it a callback. It's when they tell some story up front, do their whole set, and then at the very end they give you one line and it reminds you of what happened up front, and it just feels like, oh, this was all one big cohesive unit.
It comes to a conclusion.
That's it.
And inclusio is just super fun to say.
It's a good word.
Yeah.
Word of the day? Inclusio.
If you can spell it. So what is the fear of the Lord? That's my question to you. What would you say?
Yeah.
How would you describe having the fear of the Lord?
You know, a lot of people try and soften it. They say, well, it's not about fear. It's about respect. Right. And it is about respect. It is. It's also about fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the same way that you're smart. If you're walking down an alley and a dog just and you don't even jump.
Somebody just jumped out of their skin in their car.
Well, good, because if you didn't, you're like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
your meds are way too high. You know what I mean? You need a startle reflex, because that fear is a response to danger.
Yeah,
and you remember you had if you had a decent dad. I'm not talking about an abusive father or anything like that, but if you had a decent dad and you did wrong, you had a fear of dad, not just a respect. Oh, I just respect him so much. No, I'm terrified. Yes. I don't want him to come home. And so the fear of the Lord is, first of all, he's bigger, he's stronger, and he is wrathful because he is jealous.
Yeah,
he is all that, and because he's also a lover and draws me with cords of loving kindness. Mm-hmm. I respect him, and so I not only want to obey and know him because it's consequences if you don't, but because of who he is, I want to be near him. I respect him. So the fear of the Lord's both of those things. Yeah,
I agree. I looked it up, and one of the commentaries that I read, it says it's recognizing a total dependence on God for everything, including knowledge and wisdom.
I like it,
and I think that's something that I know this whole chapter is about women, but it's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's
No.
not just about women. It's not just about the expectation that God has for his daughters. It's also for all of his children, that this is what it boils down to. You may have all the gifts and talents and skills, but if you don't have the fear of the Lord, they're kind of all for naught.
That's so good.
And they're not, they're second in value or importance as far as the Lord is concerned. And I think that's something that, because I've had this love-hate relationship with this book, this chapter, sitting down and just really reading through that and understanding that I do have the ability to do some of these things as his daughter. But because I have Christ, I have what is most important, and that is the fear of the Lord. And I think that is, I find great relief in that.
Amen. Amen.
I think it's important to recognize that. And so, I don't know. I think this is, I think I'm ready for the CPXL challenge, unless you have something to say.
No, you did really good. Can I bring one more thing out?
Please.
That's kind of your job. So let me do that now.
Okay.
Because you're always like, hey, you missed this. And
yes,
so
please.
The focus on that passage is the woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Well, first of all, don't forget that she's to be praised. And so I would say this, Kathy, praise you for the way you raise your kids and the way you lead other women. And I'm thankful because I see that in you 100 times over. But there's also the negative in this. It's a couplet. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a problem several thousand years ago. And it's a problem today. And what's it saying? Charm is deceitful. A lot of people get by on their charisma and they don't have anything under the surface. But it will find you out. And beauty, it's vain because we joke. You get old enough, everything sags, right?
Right.
Everything. Things change. And so the negative on this, the woman who fears the Lord, that's the focus. It's saying that if you focus on being charming and beautiful, if it's all about how you look and the image that you have, that's deceitful. And it is self-deceitful.
Yeah.
And that's where the real trouble is, because you're literally lying to yourself. Oh, no, look, all these friends I have. I don't know really if you have that many friends. I mean, you have them now. But what happens if you lose what you got?
Right. Because
sometimes your charm is the resources that you have, the doors that you can open, the personality that you have, the relationships that you have. And I don't want us to miss that part of this, because the woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. But that is in contrast to the one who spends their lives focusing on being charming and beautiful.
Yeah. That's so good. And I had thought about that, and I don't know why I missed it, but when you said that it was a problem a few thousand years ago, just a quick funny, when I got to go to Greece in 19, and we were touring ancient Corinth, which is super cool. If you ever have,
we weren't on vacation. She went on a mission trip.
I went on a mission trip. It really was a mission trip, but we got to tour ancient Corinth, and at the side of this museum, we went outside, and here are all of these beautiful statues, and they're, some of them are reclining, some of them are in like this statuesque pose and all this stuff, but they're all headless. I'm like, oh, what is happening here? And I laughed so hard about this. They were actually posed statues that you could literally set your head on, and people would draw you, or they would sculpt an image of you with your head on that sculpture. It was like ancient filters.
Photoshop.
Yeah, exactly.
It was stone-based Photoshop.
There is nothing new under the sun, people. We have been doing this forever. And so I was like, wow, we really haven't changed much as a people. We've just gotten more technology. How sad is that? But to your point about she is, but a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. My encouragement, I guess this is the CPXL challenge.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, is it short?
Yes, it's super short.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so the challenge is, if you know someone who inspires you to fear the Lord, if you have seen that they possess these qualities and abilities, but their biggest value in their life that you've seen is that they value the Lord. I just encourage you to tell them.
In a loving way.
Yeah, just to say thanks or encouragement in
or
some
be
way.
open to it yourself. Great job, Proverbs 31 woman. We love you guys so much, and thanks for joining us on the Proverbs journey on this version of CPXL.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of CPXL. We hope that you have been challenged to go further and grow deeper. If this podcast has been a help to you, we ask that you would like, comment, and share on whatever platform you use. And if you would like to access additional resources, go to CrossPointChurch.com. We will see you again soon on another edition of CPXL.